That should be good. There we go. Yes. Think I did it. What up? Let me check the restream. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think this is good. Got a brand new setup. Shout out Deadbeats. Let me do all this shit. Yeah, we're gonna fucking just run through Uncomfortable today. Maybe do a little Q&A. It's up to you guys. I'll sort of just be like reading chat and like kind of diving in the project. But yeah, let me like tweet this out quick. What up? Where are we? What's up? Lick. I already see you in there, baby. Holy shit. We're live. We're good, Harrison. Um, yeah, I think we're good everywhere. I'll check test sound here in a bit, but I think we're all good. Let's rock and roll. What up from Colorado? How's it going? Can't wait to be a producer after this. Yeah, this is all it takes. After the stream, you'll be a pro. We're good. Awesome, dude. What up, chat? Loud and clear. Nice. Here we go. Here we go. Test. Test. Does that sound good for you guys? I know there's a little CPU issues. That's on my end. I just gotta like freeze a couple things, but the sound should be pretty fine. Besides that CPU crackling. CPU, yeah, it's all good. I'll fix it. Yeah, yeah, the wubs. I wish I was playing a set today, guys. I'm just doing like a little production breakdown. A wee bit scratchy. Yeah, I know it's the CPU. It's all good. I'm just making sure the volume's good for you guys and like it's stereo. A bit loud. Um, I don't know. I think it's fine. It'll be fine for now. I'll like adjust it as we go. Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of like run through this. I'll probably just start with like kind of the beginning and the intro. That's because that's where I started, and then you guys can just like ask questions as you go. It doesn't have to be about the project. Like be anything about Effin, Q&A, whatnot. Let's just get at it. PC? Yeah, I'm on a PC. Deadbeat Devil. I was on a Mac for like a year. Well, I was on a laptop, like a Windows laptop for like 4 years, and then I switched to a MacBook Pro for a year and a half, and then I finally get like my PC shipped out here, and I've been on that. The secrets on the second drop, yeah, we'll get on it. I'm down to like go through anything. Yeah, I'll let everyone kind of get in here and settle in, and we'll just start running through it. Once again, shout out Deadbeats, the Zed Boys, and Harrison. He knows. For putting all this shit together, letting me kind of do this for you guys. Will this be recorded? Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it should be saved on the channel. What's good? What's good, Connor? I know who you are. What are you doing other than making music to stay entertained during the quarantine? Um, I've been like playing the last night I played the game of life. Like I was that bored. Bitter base sauce. Yeah. Holy shit, this chat's moving. I love it. Yeah, let me make sure I just posted this everywhere. Cool. Yeah, we're good. When are you coming back to Denver? I don't know. When all this blows over, hopefully I'll be back. Oh wow. Here, yeah, the Tfue. People always say I either look like Tfue or like Eliminate's little brother. I'm down for both of those. Both gorgeous men. The tunes with the effing emojis in the chat. Let's go. This song's so good. Yeah, I love this tune. This one actually I made like It was a while ago. I think it was like 2 years ago. Um, and I just kind of like worked on it. You can kind of see in the project that there's a reason it kind of looks like the Teletubbies threw up in my Ableton. I sort of had this like organization group system, but I ended up importing another project. There's like kind of two layers to this entire project because I wrote the second drop in a different project and like combined them. What up? Where did effing come from? A random word generator on the internet. Saw you in Richmond. Good shit. Oh, dude, thank you so much. Yeah, my parents were there in Virginia. I'm actually from Virginia. We grew up in Lynchburg, so Richmond was only like an hour away. That was like almost felt like that was like basically the hometown show for me. That was such a crazy show. I've been producing it for like 5 or 6 years, I think. Where did I start? Oh yeah, it's so weird where this track started. I'll show you guys. We love the Deadbeats movement here. Oh yeah, they're killing it. Yeah, where are you guys from? Hobbies beside music? Uh, Playing Call of Duty, staying indoors, watching Jeopardy on Netflix, and just getting every question wrong. When are you gonna come release the? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hamper, working on it. You're in RVA. Nice. Do you freeze what you make an operator and flatten the audio to go from there? Yeah, a lot of times for sure. Raleigh, Pittsburgh. Relax, Alex. I see you. Yeah, random word generator. What system you play on? I play on PC. When are you streaming on your Twitch again? Very soon, very soon. But today it's all about the Deadbeats takeover. We're gonna go through this whole project. It's gonna be dope. Denver, South Carolina. Yeah, what up? Jeez, absolute banger. Thank you, man. Company is here. Ban him. Ban him from the chat. Wait, can I type in chat as Effin? Nice. um, Mr. Barker. Yeah, I did go to Icon Collective in 2017. I'm from 2017 to 2018, and then I stayed out in LA and sort of like lived with a bunch of producers. Florida, DC. Ban him. Oh God. Yeah. All right. Let's start diving into this. We'll sort of like take it slow, and I'll just like go over a couple things and answer some questions as come up. Thank you, Wizard Bean. What up? So this track actually, this is like gonna be the weirdest. Oh, what up? Please make some new bangers. Yeah. So this is like the weirdest start of a track I've ever had. Let me actually pull down this channel. So it started with this like super poppy chord progression, just like not even close to anything you'd hear in this song. But I took that and I just like I like starting tracks by just taking something and just freezing it and trying to turn it into something completely else. So that kind of turned into well, it did. That turned into this. This sort of like super fucked up perk loop that kind of set the theme for the track. That came from this like pop progression. So what I kind of did, I froze it and flattened it a bunch of times. You can kind of see it. Let's see. This is like super transposed and got all this warping on it. So I think if I go up like 3 octaves and take off that, you can like barely hear like what it used to be. It's like it sounds super fucked up now, but I took this like kind of just basic chords and transposed it down like 3 octaves and stretched it out and used like the Ableton beat kind of what's called the gating in the kind of the sample settings here, and then I just added this just like gross processing, frequency shifting, OTT, and then like a crazy auto pan. It's like make it sound like yeah, like writing on a chalkboard. So that kind of started the whole like inspiration for the track of just like it was kind of based off of like ASMR, like the super shitty, kind of creepy ASMR videos that are on YouTube, and they just like sound like absolute shit, and they kind of creep you out. So I kind of wanted to base a track around that, which kind of made me like dictated a lot of the panning and like stereo spread, and just kind of doing like a super deep, worked out banger. Bruh. So yeah, that was like kind of the start of the song, and then I just could have added like a bunch of atonal effects. You're just like, so it's a lot of like super stereo, kind of like stormy, Foley. What else is in there? Some more atmosphere stuff, and this sort of like drone. My CPU is not happy about whatever we're doing, but we'll be all right. And then yeah, obviously the vocal, which is literally just a splice vocal. Over and over again. That's not what's. Where's the original? Ronit.
Over and over and over again.
So that was just like, yeah, that was just the vocal, and I heard that on Splice, and I was just like, wow, that's literally perfect. Because I kind of wanted this track to kind of just like droned on, like chugged on. How do you make sure you're not going overboard with the stereo? I mean, you can like check stuff in mono, but this track, like the whole feeling was sort of just like super creepy, overblown, sort of like panning. So it like more fit the theme of the track to like do things with stereo that may not have been what I wouldn't normally do for like a big like banger dubstep tune. But yeah, the vocal was I didn't do anything to it, just like a little bit of EQ work, filtering it, adding like delays in some part, but most of it was just like me transposing it up like fifths and down in the drop a little bit. Yeah, down an octave. Scary. Yeah, this is a spooky one. But it was just like me kind of adding like a lot of atmosphere shit. Add a little ring mod on this sort of atmosphere to like add some tremolo to it. Just like the most basic kind of like deep dub shit, but I love the sub on this track so much. God, where did this come from? Yeah, I resampled this from like this super operator, like this crazy rack that like is so unnecessarily long, and I didn't end up using like any of this shit. Did I mix and master this yourself? Yeah, of course. Let's listen to kind of what this was. I think I ended up putting like an LFO on a triplet rate and then adding a vocoder. So without any of the processing or transpose, it sounds like this. Yeah, we're gonna go over everything, Rad Riley. I could run through a brick wall and swim with that sub. Yeah, it's like super chuggy. So it was I just took this first section here, this like and just looped that over and over and over again. So I transposed that down an octave and kind of just did some like super weird EQ cuts. I wanted it to sound like super hollow. So this bad boy kind of chugs along. It's like basic, literally just one hat line, and it's the same exact hats from my track Flood. I just sort of like push them a little bit harder, change frequency shifts with them, and the big hit is just this massive impact. Drums looks like a little Ricky Sand kick. Shout out Ricky Sand. What did I do to this? Maybe like image it? I don't know why I would do that. Yeah, I guess I like pushed the high end on the kick like crazy wide. I don't know why, but probably just sounded good in the track. Yeah, I pushed the high end on the kick like crazy wide. So there's a phaser on this kick. See, like I open these projects, I just have no idea why I do this shit, but it worked. So I kind of like hollowed out the kick and added more of like a stereo kind of clicky top end. Super basic snare, just like saturated it pretty hard. A little bit of OTT, tiny bit of reverb. And then the drums get kind of like pushed together, just like a little bus processing. X and G in the chat. I saw them in the Kenny Beat stream yesterday too, hanging out. Shout out X and G. The sub is the exact same resample bass. So let me take all the EQs off. It's the same exact like pattern and note from, or like the same exact audio clip from the drop. I just dropped it an octave and low passed the shit out of it and cut the first harmonic on it. Or I guess, yeah. That's a long rack. Could you do this? Do you find it crucial to tune your drums to the key of the song? Does it make a noticeable difference to you? Only if the drums are super tonal, and I like notice that they're out of key. Otherwise, I'm not like looking at sort of like my kick like frequency. A lot of times I'll tune the snare, like for heavy dubstep stuff. I'll tune the snare if it has like a crazy big body or like fundamental. I'll like tune that, but like for like more of like trappy snares, you kind of don't really notice the inherent key. Oh! Hold up, I might have to reset my audio interface. This thing has been taking a dump recently. Sorry about that. Yeah, the sub was just like the same patch, low passed, and then saturated. CPU F. No, it's not even my CPU. It's like I have to route my audio weird to stream. Gonna sample that. Yeah, get the absolute just like shit show that happens. How much did you know going into Icon? I think I had been producing for like 4 years before. I definitely knew like a good amount. But not nearly like I definitely wasn't sort of ready to launch my project at all. I definitely had a good amount of experience, but I learned so much like of just working with other people. That's like the main thing. I come from this like small town in Virginia, and I didn't know anyone who like made music besides like one of my good buddies. But once I got to Icon, I just started working with more and more people. That's like the most important thing. It's just like meeting people. Effin in the chat. I love it. So yeah, I sort of like developed the rest of the track just like literally this one audio clip just made the entire first drop. I just took the same sample, cut out some of the gross frequencies because I pitched it up an octave, and then saturated that super hard. Kind of bring out some like kind of upper octave frequencies. So the second octave comes in. The second octave comes in with the vocal, and that's just kind of keeps like droning on, like filtering that in and out. Little like kind of reverb. I love doing the reverse reverbs into like the sound. It's like the perfect way to just transition to a sound without making it seem too abrupt, and also just add like atmosphere to the track. Little soundscape in the background. So just like a high pass drone, which I was like kind of cut at a weird frequency. Like it sounds almost kind of tunnely, but it switched like kind of fits with the whole theme of the track of just like these kind of deep frequencies that sound like you're in like a cave or some shit. The vocals for this were literally just from Splice. Shout out Splice. I'm on that shit all the time. Yeah, there's like the little break section where I cut out all the subs. And then I add, once again, the layer. This one's an octave down, but I frequency shifted it and like saturated it super hard, so it kind of has this like bite to it. There's a massive lack of phase 48. Don't worry, we'll get there in the second drop, Kyle. You know it's coming. But yeah, that's like the first drop was like super simple. That's like kind of fit for the theme of the song. They're like over and over. Some producers hate on splice. I don't know why you would. That'd be stupid. Little effect stuff. Trying to find anything like. Oh yeah, there's this like super crazy glitch. It's called Thorium Hall. This like Foley sample is insane. Listen to this shit. Oh, Thorium Hail. Yeah, it's this insanely stereo, just like Foley recording, and like I put that in the track, and it just sort of like tied everything together, made it sound like it's like right next to a window or some shit, and Scream's gonna pop up, stab your dad. Do you group drums and synths and basses together? Yeah. I usually like kind of, you can kind of see on the right here. I do like a good amount of grouping of just like my drums and plus those, all my basses and like my main instrument, like kind of synth stuff and intro, all gets routed to the sidechain up here. Shout out Shaper Box. But yeah, keep moving on. I know everyone wants to see the patch on the second drop. I get so many questions about that one. Over. Yeah, so just an insane amount of low passing, just like reverbs, for just to fit this kind of theme of just like super atmospheric, kind of atonal, spooky boys. Do you have any recommendations for sound design? YouTube. It's like if you're trying to learn, there's so many good resources on YouTube for just learning like basic sound design. And once you get the basics down, you can kind of go nuts with it. I don't know where you are, obviously, but most sound design is just filtering and then like ADSR, like your attack, decay, sustain, release. If you can get those down, you can sort of start building any track or any kind of sound easily. Like a pluck is just like no attack, no sustain, like short decay. Or like a super saw would be maybe like a slower attack on a filter. I don't know, if you kind of understand how like envelopes and filters work, you can pretty much get the basics of sound design down. This track sounds like Amon Tovin took HGH. Shout out the owner of this channel for commenting that. I agree. Can we see that sidechain one more time? Yes, always in here. Where is it? So I usually do a MIDI trigger. Yeah, here it is. So this like is routed to the sidechain. I think I have two different ones set up just because I was saying earlier. Yeah, I have like this track in two separate subsections. But yeah, this is the sidechain trigger down here, so it just hits on the kick and the snare. And that's routed to Shaper Box. And then I'll like kind of mess with this curve depending on the BPM and style of track. Essential plugins for bass producer? I don't think there really are any. I mean, people use OTT a fuck ton, but that's free. Just kind of go nuts with it. You don't really need anything specific. What a cutie. Thanks, Mike. Make some noise for Mike in the chat. It's my manager. Wouldn't be here without him. But I also hate him. And he's getting really old. Is there something like Shaver Box but free? I think so. I don't know. I mean, you can just use like a normal sidechain compression. Let's see the automation, everything on the bass in the last drop. Yeah, we're gonna get there, Traumatics, 100%. We're just kind of like slowly working through the track, and I'm answering questions. So yeah, we have this break section come in. And over and over again. Over again. So I put an amp on my entire drum bus and just like crushed the fuck out of it and then layered that in with the original. So it's like kind of just like a parallel. But I kind of get these like super. Oh! Ugh. I'm kidding, Mike. I love Mike. Sully. I'm lucky to have the roommate that I have. Effin is the best. Oh, he's trolling me. Yeah. Nasty. Ugh. Gross. 808 is this from this excellent feature based pack. It's just called Chunky. I think I made this one for them. But it's just super fat. I just didn't really do any EQing to it. Cut the super lows a little bit. Ugh. Chunky. Wait, that's so funny. I just put out a song named Chunky. Little Uzi kick in here. I like using sort of like the trap kicks made a lot more sense for this sort of track, and then I'll like transient shape them to give them a little bit more of a click. What else we got in here? Little snare build. And then yeah, sorry, my CPU is kind of choking because this is one of it's a pretty fat rack. This is the main bass. Probably resample it, but I kind of want to walk through it for you guys. So just stick with me, and hopefully we don't get too many crackly boys. Turn off like this. This isn't even the master that I use, but I mean, probably it sounds the same. So yeah, here's the. So this is without the effects. So it's just like a bunch of harmonic distortion, and then I like automate and auto pan for the tremolo. Blah. Yeah, it's this crazy rack that has like a ton of tonal control, so I can like completely fuck it up. VIP. Yeah, I set up all these sort of macros linked to like the course pitch, which kind of changes like the amount of FM, and then those get distorted to fuck. How do you deal with that squeaky effect you get from too much OTT? I usually just recently I've just been resampling the audio and manually fading it out. What part of a track usually start with? Usually the intro. Sick. Is this for your new sample pack or a new track? This is a track I put out on Deadbeats, Conspire. We're just doing a little breakdown. The Rice Krispie. Yeah. Can you explain shaping transients on a kick? Transient shaping is just making like the first couple, like I think maybe like 5 milliseconds, maybe up to like 15 milliseconds of a sample louder. So your transient is like literally that's what it is. The first like 15 milliseconds of a sample. Like kind of the attack, and a transient shaper will make those louder or softer. So it can kind of make your drums kind of punch a little bit through the mix a little bit more, or not if you want to do the opposite. Right click single ply or 2-ply. I don't use toilet paper. Is building your own racks trial and error? Yeah, absolutely. I've made so many just dog shit racks. But this one's a good one. Yeah, I want to like bounce some of these out and throw them in a sample pack. True. It's basically just a fuck ton of OTT, erosion for white noise, hard saturation. Where's our best friend? If he's not in here, I'm gonna be upset. This better be phase 48 plus. Oh, there it is. I love this filter in Serum Effects. It's a bunch of super high or like super low troughs and a couple like really resonant peaks. Yes, there it is, Hazard. How do you layer your drums? Try to think about like filling out the frequency spectrum. So for like a kick, you could take like a lower, more round body kick and then add something kind of crunchy on top and EQ those kind of fit each other, compress them together. I try not to overthink it. I try to use like just like one or two samples, unless I'm trying to like make like a really nuts something specific. Do you do private lessons? Yeah, DM me on Twitter. I'm gonna crack your sample pack without paying it. Oh man, that's fucked up. The cone filters in Serum? Yeah, you can get those crazy sort of like resonant tonal delay sounds. The cone's pretty nasty. I like the Phase 48 because it has sort of like a valley sound to it. Ah, gosh. Yeah, it's not happy right now. So like even just shifting that, I get all these crazy variations, and then I just dial it in. Phase 48, yes. And that's layered with same exact 808, and then I auto pan the 808 to just like I turned it on to fit the motion, like triple it. Just like a simple auto pan. And this gets a little bit of glue compression to make up, because I feel like auto pan, when you do use it as a volume shaper, can get like it kind of gets rid of the total RMS as opposed to just like a huge brick. So I make up for that with compressing it. Expert just sells the FX. If you buy Serum, and if you own Serum, yeah, you can download the Serum FX, which is just like the standalone VST. I love it. I use it so fucking much. I don't know. You could put LFOs on the FX version. Yeah, and you can note latch them too. It's super gnarly. I think you can actually like MIDI trigger it too. You can go nuts. How long did this track take you to make? I think just like a couple hours. It came together super fast. Well, I made the first drop in like 3 hours, and then I made the second drop in like 2 hours, and then I spent like another hour or two combining them together. This one was like definitely one of my faster ones, because it's a pretty simple tune. There's like not too much going on, because it's sort of all about the space, empty space. Did you hear the bass as you made the intro build, or did you try a bunch of different drops for choosing one? This is kind of one where I was like throwing stuff in, and it was just working perfectly. I was just kind of like flowing. So, but it definitely took me a while to sort of like dial in I had to go into this patch, and like for some reason the output of operator was like had a weird phase, and I had to like rebuild the stereo image. It had like some phasing issues. So yeah, it was mostly just kind of like simple mix stuff, but the actual like arrangement came together pretty quick. A little bit of bus processing, OTT saturator trash on all my basses. Oh yeah, one of the actually like the weird thing that about this track that I didn't even really notice. I guess I like kind of did it while I was making it, but I forgot about it. Is the entire drops like drop a semitone in key, when like which should sound like absolute shit, but because this track kind of has no like melodic root, it just sort of has these like kind of swelling pitch bendy ambiances. It kind of adds to the what up, Stuka? Jeff. It adds sort of like to the whole theme of the track. So there's this snare in the break, which you can see here, hits on an E flat or D sharp, and then in the drop, it drops to a D. It's like should sound super weird, but it kind of fit for the track. It kind of like the whole track kind of like just like sits down, drops to like a minor second. That was pretty gnarly. Kind of fit with the whole theme too of like making the track slippy. Bonk bonk. Yeah, that's the fucking tic tac bonk or TikTok bonk. Yeah, so like kind of dropping like into minor seconds and having that dissonance kind of like added to the theme. Where is the snare actually? Yeah, I need to save this. What is this? I like transient shaped the shit out of this. Boosted the high end. What is it? It's it's just a tom. Oh yeah, it's just a tom that I pitched up like 4 semitones. Where is the sample? Yeah. Add a little bit of like super short room reverb. This guy right here. Yeah, the short room makes it kind of like crazy in the space. Tips on utilizing space properly that actually makes sense. Automating reverbs, making sure they're not like kind of swelling into each other. Uh, utilizing space properly. Like a lot of like kind of the swelly stuff can fill out the room, so I use a bunch of sort of like reverse snares. Added this like medicine snare in the second drop with a big white beats like trappy snare. I think that's kind of the main snare. Yeah, that's the main snare in the second drop. Yeah, kind of like reverse stuff can help like add that sense of space. What else? Yeah, there's quite a bit of just like reverse effects and like these empty spaces to kind of feel like the track's swelling up and down. Who are some of my favorite artists? Uh, Fergie, anything Timbaland has ever made, Elton John, G Jones. That's all of them. Have you ever tried sound designing better sounds? What the fuck? Yo, I'm gonna I'm gonna tell that to company whenever he sends me demos. Have you ever tried sound designing better sounds? These aren't good. No, I've never tried. I only sound designed like dog shit patches. Only bad sounds used. Brutal. Why aren't you better? Oh man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna cry tonight. What do we got here? Oh! Yeah, you're good, Ionis. That was funny as shit. Some super gross kind of like Foley gun sounds with atmosphere hits. Kind of your flute. Bad sounds give a character. True. Did you already go down? Did you already go over the sound design of the drop bass webs? Yeah, yeah. We just kind of covered it a little bit. Um. Damn, bro, your fans are savage, dude. They love roasting me, but I love it. They couldn't beat me in COD 1v1, so they could talk all the shit they want. They know they're trash. Tips for expanding production knowledge, understanding. Just a trial and error and like learning new shit on YouTube. Planning to work with vocalists for future songs? Absolutely. I'm so down. The song is insanely well mixed and balanced. Can you explain how you got it so clean? There's just so much space, and I kept everything pretty simple. Um, kind of made sure like every element had like the impact that I wanted. Other than that, it was just like kind of like bus processing. I don't know. That's hard to answer how I got it so clean. It's like good sample selection. Bro, come get the smoke. Don't want to hear it. Where did the sound of the underground sample come from? I don't know what that means. Is there a sample in here that says that? I don't know. Do you use sidechain compression? Yes. Shaper box. Slang dogs. All right, dude. Message me on Twitter. You're gonna be upset. Plugins that you help think you define your sound in particular. I'd say Ableton Amp, Serum Effects. I use like a lot. I use a lot of Operator and obviously Serum. Serum's the shit. Do I vape? What am I, 14? Disgusting. Smoke cigs like a normal man. I'm kidding, kids. Don't do drugs. The only drug you need is sound. Ableton amp? Yeah, I'm serious. No, I use it as shit. Shut up the fuck up, Stuka. But yes. I bet Effin uses aimbot. Bet. What else? Yeah, it's a lot of just like atmosphere shit and like pretty basic sound design. What's this boy? Ugh. Gross. A little bit of drum layering. Ew. Jesus. Dude. A lot of these sounds are just gross. But ugh. A lot of Foley, a lot of sort of like panning atmosphere shit. What helped you learn operator better? Just using it a fuck ton. It's like a pretty basic FM synth, but it's super powerful just because I feel like it reacts well to post processing. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like super clean, and then you can kind of just go nuts with the post. How do you mix drones and atmospheres bases so they don't destroy each other? Drones I'd usually high pass and we'll set pretty wide in the stereo field. So like this. Like had like a ton of like watery noise into it, and I just sort of wanted this like low mid tunnely rumble, so I like made it super wide, high passed it. Didn't do anything to this one, but it's already so, like it's already high passed. There's literally nothing below like 800 hertz. Do you use any of Stay's 6 racks? No, but one of his new songs is fucking crazy. I didn't know he had racks too. Yeah, this one, like a lot of these I just didn't even touch. Some of them are like kind of EQ'd, but if you just pick the right sounds, you don't really need to do much EQ work on it. You see that Haas rack? It's just a basic. It's like literally any other Haas delay. It's just like the same thing, but it just has a macro that controls the time delay. So I don't even know what it is. It's probably just it's like a ones to the left and then a delay on the right, with just like linked to this time. How do you choose between native Ableton operator and Serum? It depends what kind of sound I'm going for. What did I miss? Yes, it depends. Like if I want to do FM synthesis, I'll do operator. If I want to do more like wavetable stuff, I'll just use Serum. Do you use EQ8 on everything? Yeah, pretty much. EQ8 is insane. All digitally. If fucking Alex in here, Quantum Logic, he'll give you a whole spiel about EQs. But it turns out Ableton EQ is like really, really good compared to FabFilter Pro Q, especially like under 1,000 hertz. Anything over that, like if you want to get more surgical, I'd use Pro Q. But like for basic track, like actual just track channel processing, I'll use EQ8, and then on my buses, I'll use Pro Q sometimes. I don't even think I did on this track though. How do you come up with ideas or general drop phrasing? I don't know. I just like try to find inspiration. Like a lot of this track was kind of like inspired by like maybe like Alan Moore stuff, but in like a bass music kind of like crappy context, or like it was kind of like inspired by like an ASMR video. So try to like take inspiration from something that isn't like an EDM song or like a typical kind of like banger. You use EQ8? Yeah, I answered that. Why don't you use a utility with each track to mix levels with gain so you can keep track levels all the same? Why would that matter, Kaput? It's the exact same thing. There's no difference between putting a utility and doing like neg 10 here and doing like neg 10 on this. I mean, it'd be different if I was automating this. I would like always automate gain, but I also don't touch. Yeah, I just use utility for everything. What up, Juice? Oh yeah, dude, that Denver show at Cervantes is insane. Some synthesis? Yeah, we can do some synthesis. What do you think is easier to start with? Operator, Serum, if you're new sound design. Serum, 100%. There's so many good tutorials. Yeah, definitely start with Serum and kind of go nuts on that, because there's just so much like content where you can just go nuts and like honestly learn. There's like 3-hour long videos of like Virtual Riot and like Steve Duda himself. They like break down every single part of it, and you can like really kind of know the inside and out of Serum. Do some sound design. Yeah, we could probably do some in like a new project. This kind of is like choking my CPU, so I feel like if I start adding shit, it's gonna be not happy. Seed to Sage. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, Kaput. Are the boys coming on tonight? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys have any like last questions about this project, we've been going like 45 minutes. I'm down to do like another like 20, just Q&A or like random shit. We probably open like a new live set. I can maybe show off some IDs. Thanks for the tip, the boys. I think I did have like a crazy master chain on this, but recently my masters are just like literally 4 plugins. This and an EQ. I deleted the master chain for this project because it was just choking my motherboard. How's life? Not bad. You know? Staying inside. How do you make a drop that isn't very bright sound full? Tension and arrangement. Like if you wanted like this first drop in my track, I feel like it sounds like relatively full. Where is it? It's all about sort of expectations. So I didn't do this crazy like massive build up with big risers. There literally like isn't even a riser. There's just like this kind of like swell and like perk riser. So if you kind of keep the build up minimal, you can get away with not having like this crazy overpowering drop. Like literally when this drop hits, there's nothing over 2000 hertz besides the hi-hat. So it's super minimal and super kind of stripped back, but it works because of like the expectation of the build-up. How do you get enough variations with your operator synth? I feel like mine aren't as good at like one ton of a wub, but then they fall apart when I try to make variations. I don't know. I sort of build the patch where like very small changes add like a crazy very small changes in the actual operator patch like completely change the actual like output. So even if I just move like this chorus pitch, it's like a completely different sound. There you go, guys. VIP. Ah! Yeah, CP. God damn it, chat. Would you ever do a remix competition? Yeah, I did one a long time ago. For Discord. On like whatever it was. There you go, guys. VIP. You guys are first to hear it. Are we getting Effin sample pack someday? Yeah, it's already done. There's so much shit in here. I'm just waiting for a right time to put it out. When I said it was already done, I meant it's not done, and there's some more stuff I want to add. How often do you work on music? It depends. If I'm like kind of feeling inspired, I could go like literally all day, but I try to definitely like sit down and work on something every single day. Even if it's just like doing sound design. Is that a first drop of bass guitar or synth? Reminds me of a hardcore breakdown. That first drop. Oh yeah, I showed it earlier for it, Lore, and this stream should be saved, so you should just be able to like go back and watch it. It's like this super simple like kind of triplet, just like vocoded bass that I pitched down. Is there a way to use just the transient Shaper and Ableton Strum Bus? Yeah, I know what you mean, Zach. It kind of feels like it. I know exactly what you're talking about. The thing I do to sort of like get around that, where is it? Drum bus. Am I blind? Yeah. So, when is T-Rex gonna move into the Wakan frat house with you guys? Yeah, that'd be insane. We would have an absolute army here. So the way I get around that, Zach, is like no drive. No dampening, because this is like putting an EQ. And then I'll like turn the transients up all the way, and then use the dry wet. And I feel like that is the best way to like just use the transient shaper. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. It adds like a crunch or like a little bit of kind of like distortion to the sound. But if you like crank up the transients all the way and then just mix in the dry wet, I feel like you can kind of bypass it the best way. What do you feel is the best way to find inspiration and sound for a track? Get a bunch of like splice shit, try to work off that. Find a vocal you like. Sit down and do just sound design, and then like take those samples and try to start a track from them. Like I have so many splice sounds, like drum loops, music loops, just snares, drones. Just like throw those in, kind of try to work around this. Yep. How do you go about creating flows for drops? Just trial and error mostly? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just like a Ducky with the raid. Welcome. Hope you had a good stream. Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, like trying to like even just like beatboxing ideas in your head, or kind of like you basing around just like random any idea you hear in your head, or fuck it, just take like another track, import it, and steal that flow. And use your own sound design, like anything to sort of like get the ball rolling. Hey, ever use Splice Desktop? Yeah, I've got it. I think I have the app. Do you feel using loops from Splice is taking others' work? Absolutely not. They're literally on Splice for the purpose of being used. I mean, if you're just making a track from Splice samples and like not doing anything to them, like a construction kit, yeah, you're probably not going to go very far because that song's already been made. But like, absolutely use this as a tool. Like anything can be inspiration. Ducky Gang is here. How do you stay inspired? I don't. It's like different for. I try to just listen to a bunch of different music. What are your thoughts on samples, specifically on bass shots, effects, melody loops, and so on? Just like use whatever you want. Who cares? No one cares about how you make a song. Only producers care about that shit. People always hate on me when I use a sample. Producers always hate on you, and producers don't sell tickets or buy music. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like as long as you're happy with the final like product, then who cares how you made it? How long have you been out of school for? Like 2 years. All right, Adeptus. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, sampling is like how most genres are made. Show us your bass processing and resampling process. Yeah, here, let me open. I think we're all good here, unless yeah, we're probably all good here. This project. Let me open a new set. Do you teach how to use this software? No, there's a million tutorials online for Ableton. Preach it. Do you use a separate sub layer for your main basses? Yes. 95% of the time. No hazard. I might do that on my own stream another day, like a drop challenge, but I'm kind of like wrapping up here. Last like 15 minutes. Let's see if I have any new racks in here. I could like make some sounds off of. Tips for operator racks. How many macros do you program? It depends on like kind of what you're going for. What do you use as sub? Pure sine? Different for every sub bass tricks? Yeah, we could do some like sub bass stuff. There's a lot of people asking about that. Have you listened uncomfortable on a big system? I actually don't think I have. I mean, I play it out, but I don't think I've like been in the crowd when it's been played. What's your favorite part about Serum Effects? Phase 48 plus filter. What did you work on something like that? Yeah, at Icon I was doing a lot of sound design for companies, a lot of ghost production. I'm not that wasn't like through Icon, but it was like on the side to sort of like support myself. I was working on a lot of different tracks, working on Effin stuff, making like big sample pack shit. How is your hair stayed the same length during quarantine? My girlfriend cut it last week. Anyone else get hard for FN synthesis? Yes. Can we get an F in the chat for FM synthesis? Did you ever use Serum? I know Serum like inside and out. What music do you listen to outside EDM? A lot of like indie pop. Like a disgusting amount of indie pop. I just like, I don't know. It's like on the polar opposite of what I make, so. But a couple of people asked about kind of sub work. I've kind of have made a couple racks. And I've also bounced out like a bunch of. So I like these kind of like cooked top layers on my sub. Mine is a mess. Synthesis. Synthesis. I like to use sort of like a super clean low layer and then distort a layer on top of that and sort of use that to fill out my low end. Where the fuck am I? I think dank sub might be dank. How do you sidechain? I use shaper box, volume shaper in shaper box. See what this is. Yeah, I like using subs like this. I sort of built this rack where I sort of have this like top control. I think. Am I blind? What's going on here? Am I in the wrong macro? Or am I blind? Oh, there we go. I'm an idiot. Yeah, this is an old 808 rack I made, so I guess these macros don't do anything. But I like taking like a clean, super low, clean, like almost sine wave 808 with just a teeny bit of like harmonics on it. You can kind of see I like low pass it. So I just get like a couple of these guys, which gives it some more power and helps you like kind of hear it more on other systems. And then I'll layer that with like a super distorted, just like this is just a saw wave and a white noise, so like cooked together super hard, just like literally cranked. And then I'll high pass that and mix it in. And then you can like add character, add sort of like tonality with that. Sub with every harmonic ever. The Magic Bean sub. Cooked. If you make edits of other people's songs, how do you determine when it is finished can be played out? I don't know what you mean. If you make edits of other people's songs, how do you determine when it is finished can be played? Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Okay. Will you ever release a sample pack? Yeah, 100%. I'm working on it right now. Let's see if I've got any new bass racks in here. There's Chunky. Snare design. This is one I made yesterday, like in a mentor session that I like. Yeah, you could play. Yeah, if you mean play it out, yeah, you could play anything live. It's called Noise. Yeah, no, there's a saw wave in it too. LJB. Oh, I like that sound a lot. Super whippy. What else do we have in here? Sickest operator rack you've made? I show this one all the time. But it's probably the Dirty Laundry one. Like I used that one for like an entire EP. Just like made variations on that. Have you ever used Logic? What do you think of it versus Ableton? I have used Logic, but it was after I like already knew Ableton for 5 years. Logic is so good for vocal comping. Ableton's horrible. Other than that, I mean, it's just preference. It doesn't matter what DAW you use. So, can I group all this shit? This is the Dirty Laundry rack. Before processing, I'm gonna have to turn it up and turn it back down. And then this is it like after this processing. Is Ozone 9 element good for mix and mastering? Yeah, probably. Yeah, Ozone stuff is amazing. I use Isotope stuff. Get them out. I love their imagers and exciters. Do you do private mentor sessions? Yeah, just shoot me a message on Twitter. Your entire sound processing is very neuro-esque, though. Yeah, absolutely. I love like drum and bass sort of sound processing, which is why I do a lot of FM synthesis. But I sort of like overblow it to fit in more of like a heavy bass context. Quick swipe copying. Yeah, Logic's good for that. What is your high-end processing on this one? Amps. And like there's like so much shit that's like turned off that it like looks like kind of crazy, but there's so much stuff in here that's just like not even on. It's just like a super nice little wub, and then I just crank it through a flange filter, and I don't know why, but that like added a lot. And then I used like an amp to overblow it, cut like a lot of tones out, and then it was just more like distortion, OTT, saturator. What are the best effects that show a distinct change? I don't know what you mean. Thoughts on Faceplant? It's super dope. Did you show how you link the serum effects to the MIDI trigger? I've never done that personally. I know you can, but like, so what I'll do is, let's see, what can I add? Any other plugins serum similar to serum effects? I don't know, but if you have serum, you can get serum effects. Reverb filter. So let's see, what can I use serum effects on that'll sort of show what I'm talking about? Let's just take like a super long bass. Find a bass sound. So let's just take like an 808. Distort it. I kind of just want to show, like, see if this works. Hey. Look at me, fuck on me, yeah. Note latching. You're grabbing something off Splice. What's the first few effects you do to it in Ableton? I mean, it just depends on the track. Yeah, there are a bunch of tutorials for like adding sort of like the MIDI trigger. If you just want it like super basic on the grid and you don't do anything crazy, you can also just like link an LFO. So that can like be a good like creative tool to just add a filter to like any sound and sort of like have it automated with. So you could just like take like a standard. Oh, that OTT sounds like super shitty. You could just take like a standard sound and sort of turn it to like something else. Look at me. Yeah, y'all. That's right. We'd have to like blow it out a little bit more. Where's my trusty dusty hack to not having LFO tool? I don't know. I don't have it either. Put reverb on sub. Hey, could be dope. What else? Over and over. It's by Xfer as well, but not free. I don't know. Oh, LFO tool? Yeah. Sick. But yeah. Serum Effects is super dope. There's so many different ways you can use it. You can use it as like a standalone. It's just an effects, or you know, add this crazy note latch shit. You can even, like we were talking about earlier, set up a MIDI trigger. I don't know how to do that. The high end comes from saturator in this case. Yeah, I love adding harmonics in the high end with saturators. I use like saturators so much. The low end on this sounds like trash though. How to Shades 101? No, I definitely need some analog for that. Max Relive is a pretty powerful LFO device. I do love the Max Relive one. So there's like, you can also do sound design like with Max Relive. Where's the rack I made? What did I call this bases? Neuro Madness maybe. So I made this rack using, this should be LFO. Yeah, so this is the max LFO attached to like a more filter on this sound. Where are we gonna? I think we're gonna be around E1. So this is like sound design where every single time I play, it's gonna be completely different because these rates are just completely like fucking up the sound. And that's like cool stuff for like you could just chop out little like sections and use them as fills. Just like a ton of like random filter movement that can be super dope for just like doing random sound design and sort of not having like a certain like a specific output, but it's just like fuck it, we could just sit here and resample and then take all the dope parts out. And I could sit there and like macro a bunch of shit too. Then we just cook it to shit. Sounds horrible. Auto filter is definitely adding the movement. Yeah, absolutely. That was the whole idea. Like chop out little like fills and shit. I saw this Nord-based tutorial where they used the note macro to automate the LFO rate, so each pitch bend was making the LFO faster. Yeah, I think that was the Joe Ford one. I made one like that. God, this was like the sweatiest I'd ever been able to. I don't even know if I saved it. I don't think I saved it, but I used, because Max for Live has a like, it's called like control MIDI note, and you can macro that to like add a note function to any instrument. Damn, I don't remember. Because I made that like exact same thing. Go forward. This is one I copied from like his YouTube video. I think it has the same thing. Would you set rate to note pitch? Yes. Yeah, I think so. What is this one? Hello? No, I didn't do it on this one. Damn it. I have no idea what the rack was. Did I poop? No. He has no butthole. He has no need for one. Effin times Joe Ford. We need that to exist. Actually, you know what I could show you guys? I actually made this like super Joe Ford inspired track. This will like just never come out ever. But you guys will be the first to hear it ever. And probably the only ones to hear it. Let's skip forward. Damn, it's like fucking up my sounds like shit because of this CPU. Yeah, that's like I like making that kind of shit just for fun. It's getting super technical and then just getting a bunch of sound design out of it. Blow, 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 blow. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, no, like I probably could. Put, it sounds like a little bit too much like Joe Ford. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll come out on like an album in like 30 years when I'm just like completely washed. Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. No, that's a fun one. Live with G Jones, dude. I wish. As a what? His digital Mirage set was so crazy. He has like this the most nuts IDs I've ever heard. Yo, yo, what up? Vocal processing on that ID. Should I play that? Will I get in trouble for that? Uh, this looks like a very old version.
Got me blowing hollow tips. What you say to me, bitch? What you say to me? Yeah. What you say to me, bitch? What you say to me, bitch? Got me blowing hollow tips.
Oh, well, ID. Fat sausages. Only chunky tunes. How do you mix on M50X? They don't sound natural to me, and mixed balance always gets porked like Kermit. It doesn't really matter what you mix your songs on as long as you know what they sound like. Like, just log like an insane amount of hours. Like, you can mix a track on AirPods and make it sound like professional if you just know the fuck out of AirPods. I've literally been using these since like the day when I started producing, so I just kind of know what they sound like. What you said to me, sausage? Are those all spliced? No, those are not. Bloop bloop. How do you feel about the pants, no pants debate? I'm not wearing pants right now. What do you use for stereo spread? Imager, Exciter. That's on like buses. For like actual individual channels, I like hyperdimension, like a little bit of chorus, a little bit of phaser, just like 10 to 20% of a bunch of things. Have you used SonarWorks or whatever that acoustic calibration thing is? No, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. Recording available after? Yeah, it should be Van Squeezy or Vasqueezy. It should be saved on this stream or like the VODs. Holy shit! Yeah, we like cranked through like almost. We're over an hour now. I'm gonna do like another 5 minutes and just like have some last questions and then hop off. But huge shout out for Deadbeats for letting me come on here and sort of do like all this breakdown. I loved like kind of showing off projects and talking with you guys. I'm gonna do a bunch more on my Twitch channel as well. I've already done like a couple. Yeah, all my socials are right there. Hit me up. Follow me, please. Listen to Uncomfortable. What else can I plug? My merch? I'm gonna plug Deadbeats too. Oh, you can't even see it. Um, yeah, like shout out Deadbeats again. Shit is super dope. I love doing this shit. I'm gonna plug my own Twitch channel in the chat with a little smiley face. Tips on intros. It helps me a lot to start with like just like an atmosphere and like a basic sound. So you're not riding around like a super dry like stereo spread. I don't know. They can kind of help. You the man. Where can I cop some Effin merch? EffinOfficial.com. Shout out Effin. Yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely want to do this shit again. I love streaming and fucking around. What else can we plug? Yeah, they've got another one Friday. Every what? What is it, Harrison? Sunday? Oh god, I should know this. Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Deadbeats house party. Brand new shit. We got DJ sets. That's Zed have been throwing it down. We got production breakdowns. We got guest mixes. They have so much dope shit planned. Any shows? I have no idea, Vesquizzy. Yeah, no, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh yeah. All right, boys. Tune in tomorrow for a surprise. There you go. From the man himself. From the channel itself. Surprise. I don't even know what it is. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to sign out. Thank you for coming and checking out Uncomfortable with me. Peace.